Hello, and welcome to your Boise State Newsline for this week of August 21st, 2017. I'm Doug Mason.
And I'm Joshua Margin. The university held an eclipse watching party on the quad this past Monday, August 21st. Attendees were provided with food, activities, safety glasses to watch the rare near complete solar eclipse. Educational lectures from the Department of Physics, Professor Brian Jackson, took place as well. Starting at 10:10 a.m. with the total exposure occurring at 11:25 and lasting for 2 minutes, this eclipse was the first continuous solar eclipse to happen in North America since February 26, 1979. Due to this, Boise State canceled morning classes of the first day of the semester.
Boise State kicked off Bronco Welcome Week with the annual Bronco Night, designed to give incoming freshmen the opportunity to mingle with other students and faculty. This year's Bronco Night featured popular Treasure Valley radio station 103.5 KISS FM, Buster Bronco, and Boise State's Cheer Squad. Hosted by the Student Involvement and Leadership Center, Bronco Night was the first of many events during Bronco Welcome Week. On Sunday, August 27th, they will also be hosting their first traditional first week float, in which the first 100 students to show up will be given a free shuttle ride to Barber Park, as well as free inner tubes to float the Boise River. Starting at 1 p.m. and ending at 2:30 p.m., all students attending will also be treated to a free barbecue and lawn games. To learn more about future events or how to be involved with the Student Involvement and Leadership Center, visit www.getinvolved.boisestate.edu.
President Bob Kustra delivered his annual State of the Union University speech, in which he not only addressed the future of Boise State University, but also delivered strong political messages regarding climate change and the Charlottesville protests that occurred Saturday, August 12th. In his address, Kustra reiterated Boise State's constitutional right to allow freedom of speech and expression, and its obligation to keep it alive on a prosperous campus. He also reminded attendees of this institutional tolerance towards bigotry, racial profiling, and here's a couple of highlights.
And we stand in opposition to the white supremacist views and the acts of domestic terror that took place. There are no two sides to the explanation of what happened over the weekend. One was the wrong side. One was the wrong side, and one was the side, basically, the wrong side, that espoused racial bigotry and anti-Semitism, and the other was the right side. We exist in a space that guarantees the free expression of ideas. But as we saw happen, violence sometimes follows closely behind. We have to be on guard here at Boise State, but we also have to be committed to fostering continued dialogue and education to combat ignorance and hatred. Public universities have always been and will long remain a marketplace of ideas. That's who we are, where constitutionally protected free speech is exercised with regularity. But that means our campuses will have to be on the highest alert for the ideological clashes that will continue to take place as this marketplace of ideas at times becomes what President Obama called a battlefield of ideas.
Inside of this, Kustra also announced the forming of the Marilyn Schuler Human Rights Initiative, which will provide students with human rights education and smart advocacy skills on campus. Eventually, this initiative will turn into a certification program at Boise State University. The Marilyn Schuler Human Rights Initiative also aligns with Kustra's new focus on liberal arts programs and the building of new School of Arts, in which construction will begin spring 2018.
In other news, some students may be wondering what happened to the Excellence Bell that used to sit in between the Communications Building and the tennis courts. Drew Alexander, the Capitol planner with Capital Planning and Space Management, said it was removed mid-July with a plan to rebuild a more significant structure. The bell's original purpose was for a student to ring it if they had had a significant academic achievement. This had been a tradition since the dedication ceremony of the bell in 1985. Unfortunately, however, since then the bell had been severely mistreated. The new bell will be elevated overhead to prevent future vandalism, and it will serve as a landmark of the university.
Making your way down University Drive on your first day of school, you may have noticed some changes, especially if you were riding a bike or looking for free parking. Newsline Brittany Locke spoke to students and staff about the changes.
was just last year that this road behind me was used by students and visitors as free parking spaces. Now, it's paving the way for Boise State's biking community. For the over 20,000 students who attend Boise State University, many commute by car. And free parking around campus just became more limited. University Drive, which used to have 2 sides of free parking along the road, is cut down to 1. A collaboration between Boise State and the Ada County Highway District has turned the north side of University Drive into a bike lane, causing some confusion for people who have parked there in the past.
I did used to park here when it was open. That's kind of why I noticed that it was missing today.
Luckily, Mike Wilson just moved closer to campus and plans on biking to school every day. This is a trend that Samuel Patterson, the director of the services department, says is on the rise. In a phone call with Patterson, he explained that when asking incoming freshmen at orientation if they will buy a parking pass, many said no, and that parking pass purchases are down. Instead, students are finding other ways to get to class.
I think Boise State really tries to be a biker-friendly campus, and I think they do a good job of that. And so having dedicated bike spaces is a necessary component, even through like the quad and stuff.
This map shows bike lanes running throughout campus. Bike lanes that help Wilson feel safer while traveling.
I mean, if you're on the sidewalk, you got to watch out for pedestrians, people crossing. People are walking, they don't expect you to be coming up quick behind them, so they'll, cross the sidewalk and you run the chance of running into them, so having that dedicated bike lane is always nice.
Patterson says safety is always a main concern when making decisions for Boise State campus. And for the most part, people have been appreciative of the new path to class.
For those traveling into campus, there's parking options, and this only accounted for a small fraction of that, so the biker's safety for a small portion of parking, I think, is a valuable trade.
But no matter how you get to where you're going, if it's car, bike, or by the shuttle, the director of the services department tells me the first 2 weeks are always the most hectic. Reporting from University Drive, I'm Brittany Locke, Newsline.
The university expects to have new parking lots available in September. For more information on Boise State parking, biking, or the shuttle, visit transportation.boisestate.edu.
Last week, Boise State University was awarded a grant to document the art and culture of the Latino community in Idaho. The $150,000 grant was awarded by the National Endowment for the Humanities to Casita Napantla, a place new to campus where they showcase Latino art and culture. This space is directed by Alicia Garza, an associated professor of Spanish at Boise State. Garza hopes to bring awareness to the Idaho community by showing the importance of art and culture of the Latino community. We plan to write a book about Latino cultural representations that are created in Idaho. Also, as part of this project, we will be holding art and artifact exhibits and a photography exhibit by Allison Corona. One of the goals of the project is to hold events in the community that showcase different aspects of the project. In addition, we will bring in professors to lecture on topics related to the project, says Alicia Garza. The grant is not only big for the Latino community, but to Boise State as well. The university will be able to create a connection with the community by learning about the culture and by attending the programs and events that the grant will enable the community to use. Now, joining us at the podium is our very own Brendan Serrano with your weekly sports recap.
Thanks, Doug. Yes, the beginning of the school year here at Boise State means that fall sports are in fact just around the corner. Football, cross country, soccer, and volleyball all are gearing up for another run at a Mountain West title. In football, the Broncos are looking to bounce back after a season in which they came up just short in an attempt to win the Mountain West title. With the loss of 18 starters from the team last year, Boise State will look to a plethora of fresh faces trying to make their mark this season. However, not all is new, as quarterback Brett Rippon returns for his junior campaign to lead the charge on offense, while the defense returns leading tackler senior Blake Whitlock. The season kicks off Labor Day weekend against the Troy University Trojans at Albertson Stadium. Kickoff is at 1:45. To the soccer pitch now, the Lady Broncos didn't have to wait for school to start to get their season underway. After a disappointing season opener in which the team was shut out, they quickly rebounded in a huge way with a 5-1 victory over Southern Utah University. Led by redshirt senior Bailey Blazer and her 2 goals, the Broncos scored quickly and often. Head coach Jim Thomas commented, "I feel like the opportunity we have to represent this city and this university is unique. We are very prideful of every moment we wear the blue and orange, and I felt like we missed an opportunity to express that pride on Friday." So bouncing back today was less about how we played, more about showing pride to our university and our community. I'm proud of how our players showed their respect in the way that they played today. The Broncos will look to make it 2 in a row against the University of Idaho, Friday, August 25th. Moving now to Boise State volleyball, the team is looking to duplicate a 2016 season that saw the Broncos win the Mountain West title outright and earn the school's first ever NCAA tournament berth. They also boast the newly named Mountain West Preseason Player of the Year, Miss Sierra Nobley, who earned that honor in 2016 as well. Boise State was picked to finish second overall in the conference this year. The season begins August 25th at the Sun Devil Classic in Tempe, Arizona against North Dakota State University. This year on campus looks to be an exciting one for athletics as we all look forward to seeing our Broncos succeed. Now, for more information on these stories and more, visit broncosports.com.
Thanks, Brennan. And moving to Brad Sloan with the weekly weather report.
Thanks, guys. With summer break all wrapped up, the summertime heat is still sticking around. With this week's weather brought to you by weather.com, it is safe to say that as long as the Boise River's flowing, you're going to want to grab your swimsuit and hop on in. It's getting pretty toasty. Starting on Thursday, we're seeing a high of 89 during the day, but when the night starts to roll around, we're going to see a low of 61. We'll see the similar pattern the rest of the week with these major temperature differences. Heading into the weekend, we got highs of 90 on Friday and 95 on Saturday, with the lows being 60 and 62. For you Sunday Fun Day lovers, we have a high of 96, so be sure to hydrate and stay cool while you're enjoying the first Sunday of the school year. Going back to the start of your school week, Monday and Tuesday, we have highs of 98 and the lows being 66. Finally, on Wednesday, we have a high of 96 and a low of 65. So enjoy the summer heat while you still can. Find some water, catch some rays, and welcome back to school, Boise State. I'm Brad Sloan, your weatherman, with your weather plan. Back to you guys.
And that's it for this week. From all of us here at your Boise State Newsline, I'm Doug Mason.
And I'm Joshua Margin. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.